This was really funny. Hold on. Trump's lawyer, Christina Bobb, responded to Attorney General Merrick Garland's raid details.
Now, as President Trump's personal attorney, Christina Bobb, she was at...
I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You're going to jail. Look at my lawyer, dog. I'm going to jail, okay? You fucking hire a lawyer. You fucking hire a lawyer who's got two first names. You're going to jail. Oh, my God. Is this the... Wait. Okay, fuck that. Let's just watch this real quick.
So now, the new host of
I'm
Fox
watching
News
Fox
Sunday.
News. I gotta. It's time.
We
it's
also
time.
have Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley, former federal prosecutor Katie Trzaskowski. Let me start with you, Katie. What stands out immediately and most significantly to you?
Well, of course, the DOJ is going to try to.
They're saying that all the documents were declassified. Trump declassified all of them in his mind. They are going with that. They're going with that. I can't believe it. They're going with that. They're going with all the Trump. All the documents were declassified in his mind. Oh my God.
The fact of the matter here is that I think the words espionage, classified, SCI are being used without any sort of actual facts to support what he's supposed to. These documents. In my opinion, the fact that he had these documents in his possession is no crime at all, regardless of what Merrick Garland or the DOJ says.
Shannon, Donald Trump, former President Trump, actually tweeted to that. Number one, it was all declassified. Number two,
he gets to have these as a treat.
They could have had it at any time they wanted without playing politics and breaking into Mar-a-Lago. It was in a secured storage with an additional lock put on it as per.
Okay, I need to mention something about the Espionage Act 793 that Fox News was not going to mention. So this is important for you guys to all understand. It doesn't matter if that document was declassified or not. Okay? For the record, it does not matter if that was even declassified. It's not, but it doesn't even fucking matter if Donald Trump declassified it or not. Okay? So they can fucking say like he declassified it in his mind or whatever the fuck all they want, all day, every day. But ultimately, for at least the most significant charge, it doesn't even matter if the documents were declassified or not. Okay? So just a reminder. Here it is. Friend of the show, Ken Klippenstein, offering this. Note that the prosecution under the Espionage Act does not require proof of espionage, just that the subject willfully retains classified materials and fails to deliver it upon official request. But also on top of that, no, I already ran the top of the hour ad break. Can Biden just say he reclassified them in his mind? There's also that. Except Biden doesn't have to reclassify those documents in his mind. He literally, personally did openly fucking make sure that the handoff, the rather symbolic handoff between the new president and former president did not happen in this circumstance. Normally, like Barack Obama, for example, Donald Trump even, I think, allowed Barack Obama to have access to classified information, as former presidents often are allowed to have. Brandon, on the other hand, cited security concerns, national security concerns, and did not do that regardless. So remember that. He declassified the documents with his mind, the same energy as the girl is my girlfriend. We just haven't spoke or hung out at all. We shared eye contact. Yeah. And now that the search warrant has been released, now... Wait, what the fuck? Bear in POV? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Stop. Now that the search warrant has been released, Lindsey Graham coming in hot with a new talking point. Where's the affidavit? We still need to see the affidavit. We've moved on. We've moved on from the search warrant. Now it's time to see the affidavit. Yeah. It's the fucking it's the It's the long form. Now that the birth certificate has been released, it's time to see the long form birth certificate.
Material. It's not clear if staffers, first of all, if the president declassified all this material, but also whether staffers went in and made those notation changes on these documents. So there could be confusion over the status of these documents.
Lamau, were you saying she's a young woman? She's a bad lawyer? Yes, that's what I was saying. You caught me. I was being misogynistic. No, you fucking idiot. I was making a joke about her having 2 first names and also otherwise showing an incredibly poor performance thus far throughout this entire raid. But if you want to fucking believe that it was because I thought I was being misogynistic, then yes, go off, King. You got me.
FBI went in. What do you make of that?
Well, it does seem somewhat like a setup at this point. I mean, this was the president of the United States. Of course, he had access to classified and sensitive information. And any comparison to any other government employee is completely irrelevant to the president. The president is not bound by the same regulations and laws that any other government employee is when they have these security clearances. TS and SCI information can run the gamut from a lot of different topics. So it's really, I think, a fear factor sort of thing that the left and the media are trying to go after in terms of using these terms without any sort of substance to tell us what do they actually mean by that. He had access to classified documents. Did he declassify them? There's not a specific process for the classification authority, the president, to actually do that. Does he need to annotate on the document to indicate such? Likely yes, but there's really no prescribed method he has to go through. So I think that we have a lot of big questions here about the actual criminal acts that they're saying he engaged in. And it's got to be much more than him just possessing information that they claim is classified.
Right. And Shannon, there's questions whether this is now a criminal investigation. Is it a national security investigation? Where do we go from here, assuming maybe we never get a chance to see the affidavit?
Yeah, we might not. But what we do know is on the face of this warrant, what it says is you can go after any physical documents or records constituting evidence, contraband, fruits of crime, or other items illegally possessed in violation of. And then it has the different sections, which are gathering and transmitting or losing defense information, concealment, removal, or mutilation of government documents. There are all kinds of there are 3 different statutes that are outlined here, and they have real criminal implications. If you were convicted under these statutes, some of them 3 years in jail, 10 years in jail, one's up to 20 years in jail. These are serious allegations. They are the justification for the warrants. And until we see those underlying affidavits, if we ever do, or if the government decides to move forward with some kind of case, we're just not going to know what that's based on. But these are real federal statutes with real criminal penalties.
Of course, I'm not sure what the binders of photos, the handwritten notes, and maybe the information from the president of France, if it's covered on any of those things. But Jonathan, there was also a report, the Washington Post, talking about nuclear materials or nuclear information. It just the whole thing has now become just a wild game of speculation. How important is it that the DOJ and the AG somehow reel this in? I mean, it seems like the ball is in their court to remove some of this, because this sort of speculation hanging over this nation can't be good.
Well, that's what really highlights what we don't know. TSSCI is a very high classification. If there was classified material in the former president's possession, he was not allowed to have that material after he left the presidency, and the government has every right to retrieve that material. But there are a lot of questions, not just about the status of the material, but the knowledge of the former president. And then you have all of these leaks that are being attributed to the Justice Department. And that's one of the reasons why it's not an easy thing for an attorney general to order the release of an affidavit. But this is a unique, historic moment. And whether for good or for bad, this raid has caused a great deal of concern among citizens. In fact, a belief among many that this is just another targeting of Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I wonder why that concern happened.
FBI, it really undermines.
Perhaps it's because you guys are making it seem like it was bullshit.
The Attorney General needs to go against what I think is his personal inclination, and to say, release it. Release the affidavit.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite conservative argument. Is like they first set the scene for people to get fucking whipped up into a frenzy, and then they turn around and go, "Oh man, the FBI really overstepped on their boundaries here. by causing so much concern that they may be operating in a political way. It's like, bro, you did that. You did that. Jonathan Turley, you are the guy who's been on Fox News non-fucking stop for 72 hours since the raid started, saying exactly this. You are part of the reason, motherfucker. What do you mean?
It's ridiculous to ignore the troubling aspects of that situation. And I think Attorney General Garland's got to do much, much more than the type of boilerplate statement that he made yesterday.
Shannon, I mentioned a Donald Trump tweet. Former President Trump also added that they could have had at any time this information they wanted, and it includes long ago. He says all they had to do with that was ask. But there's another part to this. The bigger problem is what they are going to do with the 33 million pages of documents, many of which are classified. That
they asked it, they didn't give it. They asked it, they didn't give it.
Today, Martha played three sound bites together of James Comey on the information that Hillary Clinton had on her server, and he concluded that it was extreme carelessness in handling top secret information, but added, we cannot find a case for bringing criminal charges on her, despite the fact that it was extremely careless and she did have these top secret documents. So are we looking at a different sort of legal precedent here?
I think that the optics of this are very difficult for the FBI and the DOJ. And all of us on this panel will remember when this was going on with the former Secretary of State, she was allowed.
Also, like, they didn't have to ask. There is that element as well. Like, they didn't have to ask. They could have retrieved it aggressively from the jump. But they did. And they you know, they didn't give it back. So of course, like, yeah, you have to do that.
People were treated that it gets to the dangerous place of worrying about partisan perception or politics entering into these institutions that as Americans, we don't ever want to have to doubt them. But people can easily point to these other cases that were very high profile and say, how come the treatment has been so different? I mean, there are political ramifications of this, and it's naive to think that this would have been done in a low-key way. That Newsweek reporting, which again, you know, we don't know about the sourcing on it, but it points to senior DOJ officials and says they thought they could do this in a low-key way. I don't know how anyone thinks that you can carry out a raid on a former president's house in a warrant that's based on federal criminal statutes and think that it's going to go under the radar.
Right. Or why this sense of urgency? Why stop negotiating? Why not issue another subpoena? You know, again, take
so they did ask. So you're admitting that they asked because earlier you said they didn't ask.
The way we could do this.
What the fuck? 3 seconds ago, he said they didn't ask. Well, they did. They issued a subpoena, and they didn't follow through on it. And then they asked again? What do you mean? Well, why didn't they ask twice? Why didn't they say, pretty pink, please, with a fucking cherry on top? That is the legally speaking, that is the thing that they should have done. They should have said, pretty pink, please. And actually, they didn't do that. It's called the third time's the charm defense. It's a very famous legal defense. That they should be using in this circumstance, as a matter of fact. That's really fucked up. He gets a mulligan on this, I think.
Search was executed properly. So I don't think we'll ever really get an answer to that in terms of, is this a pretext? Probably. I mean, I'm sure they're hoping that they come across other information that's helpful. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I think that this warrant signed off by the judge does.
Dude, my favorite thing is like my own community members, like 14-month subs, trying to now get me to talk about the Salman Rushdie thing by just straight up saying I talked about Salman Rushdie last night at Austin show and he literally got stabbed Jesus. Like, I never talked about Salman Rushdie. Well, I did, but I was talking about like literally not fucking shitting on or not depicting Islam. Did I talk about Salman Rushdie? I can't remember. I think it was anyway, regardless. Like, you're making it seem like it's linked back to me now. What's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you wearing shoulder pads, bro? This is literally just my regular shoulders, my friend. No pads. No, I didn't even make the Charlie Hebdo
administration
joke.
because of the optics that we have discussed. But they need to come forward, I'm talking about the Justice Department, and really show an airtight and undeniable case presented in front of that magistrate. Anything that is short of that is going to fulfill the narrative of critics of the Justice Department. This could not be more serious, not just for Donald Trump, but as I said, for the justice system itself. And Merrick Garland seems to be absent without leave on this. I was surprised by his statement yesterday. He talked about one aspect outside of the documents with regard to his approval. He didn't swat down the suggestions this could be a pretext for January 6th. He didn't address some of these other sort of procedural or scheduling issues. Now, he is someone who is known not to be inclined to reveal information, but he's the Attorney General of the United States who just ordered a raid on the former president's home and the very likely opponent of the current president. There is no way you could reproduce that in any past historical event. He's really in unknown territory, and he has to do better than to simply say, trust us, we're the government.
Yeah. Thank you, team, very much. That was fantastic, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And again, Shannon, congratulations. So we have been getting reaction from Capitol Hill on the raid and what comes next. Fox News' Lucas Tomlinson has the very latest from Washington. Lucas.
Charles, House Republican Whip Steve Scalise doubts the White House didn't know about this raid of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate.
Merrick Garland's at least said he knew about it in advance and signed off. Did President Biden know about it in advance? He won't even answer that question. And that breeds distrust. It breeds a lot of questions about who's really calling the shots here.
Florida Senator Rick Scott wrote to President Biden's Attorney General and the FBI director earlier today. The American people are justifiably alarmed by the conduct of your agencies. This alarm has arisen not only because of the unprecedented nature of the raid conducted at the personal residence of a former president and potential future political opponent of the sitting president, but increasingly because of the lack of transparency by you and the Biden administration. At a press conference earlier today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said this about the Republicans.
I know very well how vicious they can be. You would think there would be an adult in the Republican room that would say, just calm down, see what the facts are.
Earlier, the top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee questioned the tactics used in the raid on Trump's home.
Knowing that presidents deal, except in the Situation Room, largely with policy issues, it would be highly unusual for a president to have anything, even in the Oval Office, that rises to the level of an imminent national security threat.
Turner says he wants to hear from the Attorney General and the FBI director as soon as possible in Washington. Charles?
Lucas, thank you very much. Joining me now to discuss New York Post columnist Michael Goodwin. Michael, it's interesting because there was an article, I think David Brooks in the New York Times saying that this actually could be a massive mistake. It's galvanized Republicans who see President Trump as once again being targeted, by the system, particularly the Justice of the Department of Justice. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, thank you, Charles. I guess every squirrel occasionally finds a nut. I don't generally agree with David Brooks, but I think he's right on that. And all the things you've just...
Bro, this guy's wonderful because he has the Vaseline lens. Like, he has the Vaseline lens that you normally see on conservative phones, but this motherfucker has it on his, like, actual webcam.
When Garland came out and seemed as though it was just business as usual, all of that, I think, just fuels the suspicions. It also strikes me that Garland and perhaps others in the White House act as though we're in a different era of history. The rise...
I wonder if they're interviewing fucking fossils like this because, like, they want to get people in that were there when nukes were first invented. You know what I mean?
Especially when the government is going so far out on a limb and doing something that's never been done before. But the way Garland approached it, the way the White House has approached this, is just as if it's just business as usual. And as Jonathan Turley just said, trust us, we're the government. I mean, those days are long gone. You look at Pew did a big...
oh, yeah, we can't trust the government anymore. Yeah, no shit, dude. Of course not. I mean, fuck the government and fuck the federal agencies. But you guys are the law and order guys. You guys are always talking about how the government is trustworthy and how you should always trust the government. So what happened? Now that it's like fucking Donald Trump getting targeted by the government all of a sudden in the lightest way possible for like the most obvious reasons possible, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, that's fucked up. Don't trust, people can't trust the government anymore. God damn, dude.
In this moment of extraordinary events.
I follow that polling by Gallup. It goes back to like the 1940s, and it is extraordinary. Yes. We've actually been, it's sort of the snowball that's become the proverbial boulder, and now you wonder because it's just completely flat. We have we just don't trust anyone or anything, including the media, by the way. The fact that the Presidential Records Act has never been used before. Since it was enacted in 1978 in the aftermath of Watergate, I think that actually widens the net in terms of apolitical folks out there, independents, people who just don't necessarily pay attention, saying, whoa, maybe, just maybe they are going after this guy for political reasons.
Well, and you add to it the fact that if these really are such serious documents, why is it taking them, 20 months? When did they discover these documents? I mean, they've been, as you've been reporting, they've had all these negotiations. They were there. They had meetings. The president came in and said hello. Right. When did they suddenly discover this sense of urgency that they didn't have until now? I mean, none of it quite adds up. And again, all the more reason why it's got to be explained and laid out in a way. And Garland's kind of nothing to see here, move along. It really just has the opposite effect.
Yeah, it definitely felt very nonchalant. Michael, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Of course, much more on this with Brett Baer later in the hour, why he says this warrant is raising more questions for the Department of Justice. And as the massive tax and spend bill is about to become law, did the government's official number cruncher just confirm what the White House has been denying? The middle class is going to get hit.
Oh, yeah. Let's move on from the Trump shit to more important stuff like lying about the IRS coming to get you. The middle class, man, the middle class. What a wonderful nomenclature. It's so good. It's just so malleable. You know what I mean? Anyone and everyone can be in the middle class at any given moment, right? And if you are a part of the middle class, then maybe you are under attack all the time. Always the middle class. Yeah, totally, dude. Totally. Why hasn't Tucker talked about this yet? Because he's on vacation. All right, let's move on to, guys, you keep coming in here and saying insider paper says FBI agents recovered secret records. I know. We already talked about this like a million times over. We've been doing live coverage of the information that is coming out. Are you on mobile or something? What's happening? We already... Like, this happened like hours ago at this point. So I want to talk briefly about the way that the conservatives operate, though, because they fall in line. They fall in line and they get their fucking talking points ready and fired up, and then they blast the fuck off, right? Now, here's a great example of this. I follow a complete list of House and Senate Republicans on here, and they've basically gone dark. 40-ish minutes since the Post story broke, and there are only tweets with the look like, to my trained eye, like scheduled content on inflation / the Inflation Reduction Act with two unfortunate exceptions. Okay? Voting is a great summer pastime. Marsha Blackburn comes out, says Attorney General Garland, the DOJ pursues equal justice under the law unless your name is Hillary Clinton or Hunter Biden. The top Republican on the Intelligence Committee was apparently meeting with the Okeechobee County ranchers and cattlemen when the news broke. And of course, there's always the absolute morons who run this account saying stupid things that reflect poorly on their boss and then blow up in their faces later. Okay? So hours after Merrick Garland says that the DOJ only speaks through its filings in court, they go out and leak the story to the Washington Post, which they, of course, reverse leaked to Breitbart, as we know, right? Okay, I have a question. Who the fuck is Anahichi or whatever? Why do people keep saying Anahichi died? Is that like a these nuts joke or something? Like, why? What is happening? Why are you guys constantly fucking writing in the chat about someone? Anahichi, an actress. Anahichi from Ally McBeal. No, it's a real actor. The woman who did that really fucking fast car crash in LA. Wait, really? Wait, what? She got into a car crash? Was it an insane car crash? She was also in Legend of Korra. She was married to Ellen. Okay, I'm going to make the executive decision and not talk about that because I am not aware of what the fuck was going on, and I don't care. I'm sorry. R.I.P. to Anahichi Heish. Okay, so anyone that wants me to cover that, I'm sorry. I have no opinion on this, and let's continue. Okay. Literally just a sad story. You don't have to cover it. Yeah, motherfuckers will come in and be like, dude, you have to cover this. Okay. All right. Rest in peace. Motherfucker said, is it a D's nuts jokes? Yeah, I thought that the people kept saying like, I thought people kept saying it so because they wanted to like do a D's nuts joke or something. You know what I mean? I wouldn't keep pronouncing your name like that. It makes you sound out of touch and rude. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Is it Heish? Bro, she was an actor, bro. Seriously, bro. There's different strains, bro. Please, bro. What? Out of touch, bro. Go outside. Yeah, dude. I don't know what is going on. Please stop. There's like, yeah, everyone in the chat is giving me a different way to pronounce her name. I don't know, okay? Stop being fucking weird. Shut the fuck up. We're continuing on with our coverage of this, okay? Ted Cruz is now trying to blame the Secret Service. If you follow the Fox News reporter thread, you'll see that it's just a shameless speculation from someone who doesn't know what happened. Doubtless the Secret Service spokesperson will respond to knock it down soon. So the Silver Bullet confidential source who likely convinced to raise the Trump home is a Fed. That's what Sean Davis said. At Mar-a-Lago, Trump is surrounded by two types of people: political loyalists, law enforcement officers, and Secret Service. Only the law enforcement officers would have an ethical and/or legal duty to report observations of criminal conduct to fellow law enforcement officers. Therefore, it would seem more likely than not that the probable cause for the search warrant was based on information provided by the president's Secret Service detail. Even the upside down flag lady is pulling her punches with the IRS Army post. Like, even she's not fucking blasting off on it. So, the reason why that's significant is because, like, they wait until they have similar talking points and then they fucking blast off once they have the same exact talking points. You saw this while they were doing the whole like Banana Republic third world country shit. So, that's precisely how this works. Here's an old Trump tweet. There's a tweet for everything. The IG found that James Comey leaked classified documents to his attorneys, which can be a violation of the Espionage Act. This is consistent with all the lies that Comey has been spreading. That's a little haha gotcha moment among a sea of gotcha moments for Donald Trump. But here's what's happening with the Donald Trump fans. Top comments on Trump's forums right now are just trying to ID the specific FBI agents who were a part of and signed off on the raid so they can be helicopter passengers, which is a reference to the Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet murdering dissidents by throwing them out of helicopters. They haven't been too successful at it and are awaiting an affidavit because it will name the traitors. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm also like facilitating not one but two banger podcast episodes this weekend on the side. So the Taz guy, Trump guy's on Fox. What? I know the warrant is unsealed. We already talked about this. But it's not the warrant that they want. They now want the affidavit so they can figure out who the fucking unpatriotic, treasonous FBI agents were that would dare go into Trump's house. Donald Trump's response to everything was this, by the way. They could have had it any time they asked. And that includes long ago. All they had to do was ask, which they did. Okay, so there's that. There's that element. Okay. And that includes long ago, all they had to do was ask. The bigger problem is, what are they going to do with the 33 million pages of documents, many of which are classified, that President Obama took to Chicago? Wait, I love the Chicago mention here because like it almost makes it seem like Obama took it. Because, like, you know, when Republicans use Chicago, they use it as, like, racial agitprop. So, like, Obama took the classified documents to O Block. You know what I mean? Obama took the classified documents and, like, drove it up to you know, Southside Chicago. Like, that's the way he's doing it. He's like, Obama took them to Chirac. Number one, it was all declassified. Number two, they didn't need to seize anything. They could have had it any time they wanted without playing politics and breaking into Mar-a-Lago. It was in secured storage with an additional lock put on as per their request. Fire. Yeah, he says Chicago, pejorative. Yeah. Chief Keef, more like Chief of Staff Keef. That's who Obama's working with on the classified documents. Okay, so the U.S. National Archives responded to Trump's unsubstantial statement. The National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, assumed exclusive legal and physical custody of Obama's presidential records when President Barack Obama left the office in 2017, in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. NARA moved approximately 30 million pages of unclassified records to a NARA facility in the Chicago area, where they're maintained exclusively by NARA. Additionally, NARA maintains the classified Obama presidential records in a NARA facility in the Washington, D.C. area. As per required by the PRA, former President Obama has no control over where and how NARA stores the presidential records of his administration. So, even on that front, he's wrong. But, you know, that didn't even fucking matter anyway, because all he had to do was mention Obama and Chicago. So much crime. So much violence. Did you already cover this? Yes, we're gonna cover the January 6th hoglet who fucking got suicided by cop in a little bit. Hold on. Did you see Brian Kilmeade put up a Photoshop image? Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Trump possessed documents classified above top secret that could reveal intel sources on U.S. payroll. That's one of the other additional details. On what he may or may not have taken. This tweet didn't age very well by Ben. He's been awfully quiet since this shit's been popping off. Not really talking about it that much. Salman Rushdie, he tweeted about. He hasn't really tweeted that much about anything, really. because that's exactly what happened. That's because this isn't real news. Unlike trans people swimming. Yes, if there is a 14-year-old trans girl out there, okay, inside of a fucking pool, God forbid, okay, if there's a swim meet happening and a trans girl accidentally even walked into the said swim meet, it's over. That is a matter of national news that needs to be covered endlessly. Do you understand? Lock her up! Lock her up! They will cut 700 hours of content off of that shit. But when the former president, took a bunch of classified information that the government asked, okay, that the government asked multiple times for him to return politely, nicely, with a subpoena, and he refused to do so, so then they fucking raided his home. Then it's like, whoa! Hold on now, that's not that big of a deal. Ben Shapiro has not talked about this that much, which is really interesting. Really, really interesting. Even Steven Crowder, who was like, bro, this is time, it's time for a fucking literal war. It's time for Civil War II Electric Boogaloo, has not really talked about it either. Scoop, the Republicans plan to vote by proxy en masse today in hopes of denying Democrats a physical quorum and opening up the Inflation Reduction Act to a legal challenge per 2 senior GOP aides. Link the tweet. Hold on. The other day he was like, bro, it's Civil War. Today, mysteriously quiet. Wonder why. I personally don't think we make a big enough deal about the fact that the entire American conservative movement was completely and totally altered, possibly forever, by the users of a website created specifically to share Japanese cartoon pornography. Okay, this is a fucking deep cut. Trump on Truth Social suggests without evidence that the nuclear materials were planted by the FBI during the Mar-a-Lago search. That was another good one. Nuclear weapons issue is a hoax. Just like Russia was a hoax. 2 impeachments were a hoax. The Mueller investigation was a hoax, and much more. Same sleazy people involved. Why wouldn't the FBI allow the inspection of areas of Mar-a-Lago with our lawyers or others present? Made them wait outside in the heat. Wouldn't let them get even close. Said absolutely not. Planting information, anyone? Reminds me of a Christopher Steele dossier. So now he's going with they're planting the fucking fake evidence narrative, which of course makes no sense because, you know, he's been sitting on these docs for a while. They made my lawyers sit in the heat, folks. Okay. Also, there's an update on the Kilmeade situation. Remember how I showed you Brian Kilmeade showed a fucking fake photo of Jeffrey Epstein getting a foot massage? A real photo of Jeffrey Epstein getting a foot massage by Ghislaine Maxwell on Lolita Express was altered, memed, by some fucking random conservative Twitter account, to make it seem as though the actual judge that the magistrate judge that signed off on the arrest warrant on Donald Trump was getting a foot massage by Ghislaine Maxwell. So Brian Kilmeade not only fucking posted the watermark meme, okay? Not only hold on. Not only did fucking Jesus Christ, sorry. Not only did he post, sorry, I just got a text message that fucked me up a little bit. It zapped my brain. Not only did Brian Kilmeade show the photo, but he also defended the photo to Sean Hannity when Sean Hannity was like, hey, doesn't seem like that's actually the judge. And and Brian Kilmeade continued to defend it by saying, oh, well, who knows? Last night, while subbing for Tucker Carlson, we showed you an image of Judge Bruce Reinhart with Ghislaine Maxwell that was sourced on screen to a meme pulled from Twitter, and it wasn't real. This depiction never took place, and we wanted to make clear that we were showing a meme in jest. Awesome. I know the hogs have fucking started. Take a week off. I don't know what you're saying. We're going to talk about the Cincinnati office hoglet in a second, okay?